there's going to be terms, there's going to be prices, there's going to be other things that competitors would want to get a hold of to be able to see, right? If I was going to,
you're right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Hey, you don't think the whatever conferences are still standing? The Mountain West wants to know, hey, what's ACC? What are they getting paid
that's why
for
that
these?
Would be because you don't want to expose more information than the court case needs, right?
Right. Well, a lot of times it's other competitors wanting to be able to know, how are people being compensated? Who, like say in a manufacturing context, who builds the things for you, the amounts that they build them, all that would be hugely advantageous for others to be able to get a hold of. And so the ACC was saying, hey, we don't want to give it up. Judge Cooper was saying, you're going to give it up, but it's going to be under a confidentiality order. It's not going to be out there. So, I think this is a double win for Florida State, because then if it goes out and it's dealt with as a public record. Now, if you don't think Clemson's not out there jumping up and down, and a couple of these other teams that may want to know what some of these things are that don't know what they are.
Why is it so important, Brett, to Florida State for that information to become public?
Well, this is the thing that's weird. I would assume your AD would know everything that's in the contracts, right?
Right, but there's a
But I get the sense that's not the case.
Well, certainly some of the details, it's clearly the case. It's clearly not the case.
Right. So, I think they just want to be armed with the most information they can so they can kind of craft these arguments and see what they can do to try to, get out of the deal. I think ultimately, legally, getting these things out isn't very important. I think where it may be important is this idea that you want to go to these other conferences, right? I think the other conferences are trying to go and look at and say, okay, if we bring Florida State in, at what cost? What's really going on here? I had heard, some reports, and I'm sure you did, that they were kind of coming out of SEC media days, and they were saying, the Big 12 and the SEC are hands off. They don't want to deal with FSU.
The Big 10 is what Brett McMurphy wrote the story. And Matt Hays corroborated the story that the Big Ten and the SEC have, at least as of today, have no interest and are unlikely to have interest unless the ACC implodes entirely.
That's like asking Lane Kiffin if he has interest in the Florida job. Yeah. That's a non-story, right? That's exactly what they're going to say. But I'm going to go out and tell you.
So you don't believe that?
Not at all.
Interesting.
Not at all. You're an average fan. You're a consumer. You're a guy who might go buy. We're moving in this world that we're going to, where we buy the NFL package, right? That'll probably be our next Sports and Court segment. But are you buying the SEC package, or what are you doing? The Florida States of the world, the Clemsons of the world. I think the SEC does want them. But you can't say that now. You can't interfere with the contract. But if you don't think the SEC and the Big Ten don't want to go read that contract what they can publicly, you're fooling yourself. So I think that's what you have to say.
Right.
And then I think you're going to start seeing what happens. So I think for Florida State, getting that information out there, maybe if there was something there, they'd say, hey, maybe they aren't a good conference partner, right? Because they're bringing this lawsuit. But I don't necessarily think that would be a reason that one of these conferences wouldn't go pick up FSU. FSU's the only one that's going and fighting a deal that I'm guarantee you North Carolina, Clemson, and some of these other schools are silently rooting on.
The final thing, will this, in your opinion, your legal opinion, which we've been leaning on this show for probably 20 years, will this becoming public, as the Florida Attorney General has now mandated, help Florida State win its case against the ACC?
They've got it in a good venue. I would put it this way. You feel like you get calls at home, right? I don't think referees go out and just throw calls and don't do stuff. They've got this lawsuit at least framed in the place that they would want to have it framed. They've been able to kind of get some momentum, if you will, to get those things going on the right thing. This is still going to get drawn out for a while. We can draw on criminal law to put it this. Yeah. You know why you don't plead to a criminal case? Because they're going to go and it's going to be fatal. This is fatal to the ACC. So I don't know that this is a case until we start seeing things where they really think they're going to lose the case, that they're going to engage in any settlement negotiations. And remember what we talked about a couple weeks ago. They're going to continue to plow forward in the state of North Carolina, and we have some real chance for conflicting rulings and some other things. So what I think this is going to do is incentivize them to try to push forward a lot more vehemently up in Carolina, and we'll see how that crawls out. But I don't see this resolving itself anytime soon.
Interesting stuff. Great work as always, Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. We'll take a break. When we come back, back to the media days, you'll hear from Jim Nagy, the terrific executive director of the Senior Bowl. That is next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This Open Championship update on 1010XL is brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 152nd British Open Championship. Do you love golf? Turn your passion into a profession. Get started on your PGA career at pga.com/workingolf. Very few players at Royal Troon who played in the afternoon saw any low scores. That was not the case for Justin Rose. A 68 on the day, only one bogey. That was at 12, his only drop shot this week, and made a dramatic 41-foot birdie at 18.
That was such a fun way to finish. There was a realization I didn't have to hit another shot. Could really kind of let my guard down and enjoy the day, because it was a really hard-working, good round of golf. And, to finish that way was obviously special with the crowds, being a fairly full grandstand Friday afternoon. And, it was really good to enjoy that one.
Rose and Daniel Brown both in second at -5, two back of Shane Lowry. With this report on the British Open, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sports.
Do you love the game of golf? Do you live it, breathe it, stay up all night thinking about it? As a PGA of America golf professional, you can turn your love of golf into a career. Whether you're passionate about helping others improve their game, putting innovations to work that drive the sport forward, or promoting a more equitable and inclusive golf community, earning a PGA of America membership can get you there. Join the more than 30,000 PGA of America golf professionals who love and lead the game of golf. Visit pga.com/workingolf to turn your passion into a profession.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
It's time to fire up your grill, shoot off some fireworks, and launch one of the biggest sales in the history of the United States. It's our independent sale happening right now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. Whether you drive a car, a truck, or an EV, everyone is welcome to celebrate our independent sale with the lowest prices, largest inventory, and the most love for our country. Come celebrate with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. You don't want to miss this.
After consulting with several orthopedic specialists about my constant knee pain, I chose Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and Dr. Chris Swanson to handle my surgery. Their professionalism let me know this team was the one for me. The surgery was very successful, and if I ever have a future need, I'll continue to trust Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to take care of me.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and Twitter to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress. And as crews work to restore services, our storm outreach team will be in local neighborhoods to answer your questions. Because as your community utility, JEA is here to keep you safe and connected. Your community, your utility.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
If the Florida heat is getting you down and you're sweating up a storm, fire up a phone call to Florida Home AC and order an AC tune-up. It's the best way to beat the heat and keep your AC unit working at peak performance. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for their tune-up special and make sure you're primed for the peak of that heat. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just a phone call away at 777-4300. Order that tune-up today.
Quarterbacking can be complicated. Denny Thompson simplifies it for us.
Yeah, I want to tell you what's really happening at the quarterback position.
Friday mornings on The Drill, brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, takes the field this season at 1-1 Financial Ballpark as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Tickets start at just $5, fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids run the bases after every Sunday game. JackShrimp.com, Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family fun.
Hey sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Look, we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. I love the live casino. The roulette is awesome. It's so easy and so much fun. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. So sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
We sure appreciate our friends at Big Chief Tire. 5 locations in town if you need tires or automotive work like oil changes or alignments, brakes. They do it all, and man, they know what they're doing. Big Chief Tire. Always a Big Chief Tire Friday around here. I love catching up with Jim Nagy. Phil Savage had the Senior Bowl before him and did a good job. He was a good football guy. But Jim's eye for talent, his ability to build a staff, his feel for marketing and marketing the game is taking that thing to heights I never thought it would get to. That's why the Senior Bowl is such a big deal. That's why ESPN and NFL Network spend so much time there. During the week, we caught up with Senior Bowl Executive Director Jim Nagy. You're everywhere. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like I've been everywhere.
It's good to see you. You like Dallas? I'm asking everybody, do we like the Dallas?
Well, yeah, I like Dallas. They've done a good job. I miss Nashville, though.
Yeah.
You know, that was awesome last year. Anything's good in Nashville. But, no, they've done a great job here.
I ask you this all the time, and I tell you this all the time. What you've done with the Senior Bowl is pretty amazing. It's become a real thing. Now, it was never not a thing, but it wasn't a big thing. And so congrats on that again. I say that
Thank
every
you.
time I see you.
No, thanks a lot. It means a lot.
Where are you, Jim, in the process now? I mean, it seems like now you get the players you want. Is that? Am I reaching by saying that?
It's getting easier. I think whenever you can show the players like what's happened to their teammates.
Yeah.
I think they're more in tune to like what has happened to their guys. So yesterday I got with Carson Beck and Michael Williams from Georgia. And last year they saw what happened to Ladd McConkey, and they saw what happened to Javon Bullard. Like those guys like that, Tyke Smith, those guys really helped themselves. So that certainly helps. But yeah, I mean it's been a build. I mean I'm going on year 7. It's went by really fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully this thing keeps building on itself and. But yeah, the game's been great forever. What they maybe didn't do in the past, just market it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is a powerful thing nowadays, and I hate being on my phone as much as I'm on my phone. My wife certainly hates it, but it has helped the profile of the game, and it's helped us connect with players, which is the main thing.
Two relationships seem to stand out: the NFL and ESPN. I would think. Start with the first one. What is the relationship like between you and the NFL? It's obviously a great relationship. We can tell that, but who are you in contact with? Do they have a say on who you try to bring in? How does that all work?
Yeah, I mean, it's a loose relationship, loose affiliation. I'd say the biggest thing is that they've always provided our coaches.
Right.
That's a big deal. I mean, that's a big reason why a lot of the players want to come. They're being coached by pro coaching staff, so that's a big deal. So we in constant contact with those guys. Roman Oben is our main point of contact. It's under the football ops wing of the National Football League. Troy Vincent oversees that, great former player. Roman's our main point of contact. But yeah, we're trying to be invested in all the areas that they want to be invested in. So yeah, it's been a really good relationship.
Who picks the coaches? How does that work?
So yeah, that's changed. So we had the full coaching staffs for our first 73 years, right? And that was a big deal. I mean, you get the coaches at the top of the draft, who they always started with the draft order,
right?
Jag's coaching a lot, over the years. So they changed that up a couple years ago, and now it's a format where they're really trying to promote coaching development.
Yeah.
So they call it a quote unquote coach up format. So our head coaches are coordinators. Our position, our coordinators, our position coaches, and so forth. And my thing with the players is last year we had 18 teams represented on our coaching staff. So that's someone in 18 different buildings that was behind the scenes with you all week, and they're going back to their facility, and they know, hopefully you did good stuff. Hopefully you paid attention in meetings. Hopefully you did a good job on the field and took coaching. But if you come down and you do a good job, that's 18 people going back to 18 buildings that are, singing your praises, hopefully.
I might have misspoke. I said ESPN. Is it ESPN or is it the network?
The NFL Network the NFL Network does practices in the game, and then ESPN does our practices.
Okay.
So they're down
So it's
there.
both.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah. But that relationship's got to be gigantic for what you're trying to do, because we all watch it. Who doesn't watch every Senior Bowl practice? We all do.
Yeah. No. Those are big, and we're trying. We're trying to. To me, there's more to be done. I think right now we're in a place where. Look at it. Well, look what the Giants Hard Knocks right now is doing.
Yeah,
I mean, the ratings are great. Joe Shane and those guys, they were it's the first time Hard Knocks has been with a team through the draft process. And the first episode, they were in Mobile, and they captured a lot of footage from the Senior Bowl. But that's something I want to get done. We'll offer any group that wants to come in and get full access. So let's do that. The next step I've talked to the NFL Network and ESPN about is doing like a Senior Bowl one-on-one special. Like standalone programming. Everyone loves the one-on-ones, right?
That's right.
From the week. So there's things that we haven't done that we want to get done. But yeah, having those two groups down on the field and covering our game is a really big deal.
Jim, talk about players now. Who do you have your eye on yet? And it's not too early. Obviously, you wouldn't be here.
No,
so some guys around here that you have your eyes on.
Yeah, it's not too early, and I appreciate you bringing that. We just finished our staff. Like last year's staff had 11 former NFL scouts on it. We had over 200 years of experience, and that's important. We just hired a guy that got let go in Jacksonville is going to be doing the Southeast for us this year. And these guys are really good football people. So I'll start with that. We've graded all the Power 5 players. That's done. Forget Power 5. We graded all the FBS players.
Okay.
We're working on some of the small school guys right now. But here, I mean, you look like just today, I'm trying to think of go down the lineup. So Jalen Milroe is going to be here. Quinn Ewers is going to be here. Calvin Banks, the junior left tackle from Texas, is going to be here. Tyler Booker, the guard from Alabama. So my mind's kind of on today and who's here. All those guys are guys we're targeting. I saw Quinn at the Manning camp. I saw Milroe at the Manning camp. But that's important for us. all these touch points, what we don't want to do is send out the invites in November and have these guys like have any shadow of a doubt whether they want to play it or not. Like we want them to know we're looking at them. We want them to know about the game. So when I see the players, I hand them this card with all the draft success we've had over the last few years and just try to educate them. But yeah, most teams bring their best players to SEC Media Days, and that's why we're here.
We obviously we're the flagship of the Gators. Graham Mertz and Montrell Johnson will both be here. They're both seniors.
And Shamar James is a Mobile guy. My son played against him in high school. I've been watching Shamar. Yeah, my son had to try to tackle Shamar.
Good luck, because he's a heck of a player. But what about Mertz and Montrell? Because they qualify this year. Do you like them? Have you looked at them?
I do. I sat here a year ago and was kind of singing the praises of Graham Mertz from what I'd seen on the Wisconsin film, and I think a lot of people looked at me like I was crazy.
I'm with you.
He had a good year last year.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff. I had another group from Florida ask me if I thought he could play on Sundays. Yeah, I think he's going to get drafted. Again, look at Ricky Pearsall last year. I mean, Ricky had a phenomenal year. Someone had to get him the ball. I think Mertz had a good year. I think he's good. And they brought in some transfers. Yeah. I don't know how you replace a Ricky Pierce. That guy's a phenomenal football player, Ricky Pearsall. But they did a good job. And Montrell, I like Montrell because he's got an NFL running style. The guy forces you to tackle him. He's big. He's physical. I think he's got something to prove in the passing game.
Yeah.
They don't throw it to him a bunch. So, again, that's the value of the Senior Bowl. Come to Mobile and show the teams that you can catch it and run routes and pass protect. So, yeah, I'd love to get with both those guys, all three of those guys today.
Yeah, and I can tell you the funny story, the story about Mertz. And I've done this on our show, Jim. So, Florida was getting Mertz. Everybody thought he's terrible. He was terrible at Wisconsin. I did what you did. I don't have the access to the tape you do, but I got YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's on YouTube.
Yep.
So I watched his highlight tape. So it was pretty good. So then I went back and watched the games. And people were wrong about him. He's a pretty good player. He doesn't have a great arm. He's not a big arm guy. He's not a big, fast guy. But he's a good quarterback.
But he can play quarterback.
He can play quarterback, yeah. So I would think your game would be perfect for someone like him, who still isn't probably as exposed as Jackson Dart and Karsten and some of the other guys, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, we're going to stick to the board and invite the highest guys we have graded. But yeah, certain guys certainly. If it's I'll put it this way, friend. Like if it's close on a player, and this used to be with the small school guys. Unfortunately, what's happened with the portal, it's really hurting the small school element of our game.
Yeah.
Like the Slackman kid that Florida just got from Penn.
Right.
It would have been really cool to have a Penn helmet in the game.
Right. Right. That's right.
And he would really need to prove it. Well, now he's gonna have a Gator helmet on, and but his tape was great. But when it was close between a small school guy and say a guy from the SEC. Yeah. Yeah, I used to defer to the smaller school guy because the league needs to see that guy. Now, I mean, it really, the last 2 years has wiped out the small school element of the Senior Bowl, which I hate because I've always enjoyed, last night, for example, the news broke that Quinn Miners, this Division III player we had in the game a couple years ago, just signed an $80 million extension. That guy, he played at Wisconsin Whitewater.
Right.
Those were great stories coming out of the Senior Bowl, and I feel like we've lost that a little bit. But back to Mertz, yeah, I think that he would have a good week in Mobile because he's smart. He'd pick up the system. He'd operate the offense, and that's what teams want to see.
Final thing, you talked about how the changing face of college football has affected your game because you don't have the small school guys as much because they're not small school guys anymore.
Right.
How will the change in the playoffs, longer seasons, 17-game seasons for two teams, how will that affect your game, when you can go get players, when they can commit? Will it have an effect?
We can still invite the same way we've invited the league. The league opened it up to juniors last year, and we can't invite them until they officially declare, right? So that's going to – but with the expanded playoff – we might lose some guys. We lost some Michigan and Washington players last year. We had a couple really good players on both teams that were committed to play in Mobile that got through that national championship game, and their agents called or they called, and they're like Blake Corum, the running back, represented by Drew Rosenhaus. And Drew sends all his guys to the Senior Bowl, and he's like, Jim, Blake's really beat up. He just really needs to rest, get ready for the combine. I'm like, Drew, I get it. So we might lose a couple guys that way, but I go back to a few years ago when LSU played Clemson in the national championship game. That was on a Monday night. player arrival day at Mobile was the following Sunday. So they really had about 5 days, and we had 8 players from those 2 teams in that game. So it's going to be dependent on the player and if they're physically able to do it or not.
Well, that answered the question. You had 8 guys from a national championship game, so people who want to get to the Senior Bowl are going to get to the Senior Bowl.
Right. If they really want to do it, they're going to be there.
Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl, you've done a great job. Thanks for spending some time.
Thanks, Frank.
Jim Nagy really has done a great job. He's really built that thing, and it's the talk now of the postseason, particularly for players trying to improve their stock in the NFL. No question about it. Speaking of the NFL, we'll take a break. When we come back, my friend Pete Prisco joins us. Oh, boy, camp's right around the corner. My man Pete loves camp the way we do. We'll talk some NFL right before it all starts with Pete Prisco right after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL. Duval till we die. All the damn time.
I want to hear Duval.
1010XL. This Open Championship update on 1010XL is brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 152nd British Open Championship, sponsored by Verizon. 2019 Open champ Shane Lowry took advantage of benign conditions in the morning to shoot 69 and post at 7 under. He leads by 2 and now faces a long wait until his Saturday tee time. A good problem to have.
I know tomorrow is going to be a long day, but I've done it before. For me, it's just all about going out and playing my own game, shooting the best score I can, and then seeing where it leaves me at the end of the day.
Lowry at -7, 2 Englishmen at -5, Justin Rose and Dan Brown. Brown is playing in his first major championship, and he is ranked 272nd in the world. Rose made a 41-foot birdie putt at the 18th to get to -5. With this report on the British Open, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sports.
Sometimes your phone breaks.
Ugh.
Dude.
What the?
Oh, seriously? Hey, life happens. But at Verizon, we got you. Trade in any phone from our top brands in any condition and get a great deal on iPhone 15 with an unlimited Ultimate plan. And turn...
No!
Into... Oh, yeah! Only on Verizon.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Frank Frangie here. This summer, happiness is the new Chevy. Like a new Chevy Silverado from Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $8,500 off a new Silverado, or qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 models. With the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick. That's Nimnick Chevrolet at the corner of Park and Cassett. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
Mueller Aaron Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a paint color namer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Irving Stapler.
Hi, Howie.
So the next round is word association. I'll say a word and you give me the first word you think of. Engagement ring.
Jeweler.
Gas station.
Fueler.
Aaron Burr.
Dueler?
Air conditioning.
Wow. Jeez. It's a toughie.
Come on, Irv. The sponsor's going to kill me now.
Oh, Bueller.
That's right, Irv. If your AC is struggling through the summer heat, the first name you should think of for fast, friendly, 5-star service is Bueller Air and Plumbing. The name to know to make sure you are cool.
Have a beer, Irv.
Cooler.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is Hays Carlyon for SkyLife Elite. Are you tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers? Call my friends at SkyLife Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. Yes, you can afford it. Make your own schedule. Fly direct. Drive your car to Craig Airport and get directly on the plane. SkyLife Elite can make that happen. Call 490-9332. Go to flyskylife.com and find them on social media. Fly SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
The restaurant of the day is Flame Broiler. Try the happy hour special, a mini chicken bowl with a drink for just $6.45. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or check out one of 5 locations across town. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Visionaries, builders, and doers. Are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harrell & Harrell. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harrell & Harrell. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Let's go! It's Military Appreciation Night this Saturday, July 20th at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Join us for exciting football action and help salute and celebrate our military. As a thank you, all active and retired servicemen and women can get a special buy one, get one free ticket deal. And the first 1,000 fans will receive a free military rally towel. Ask about the new Family 4-packs. You get 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $25 Al's Pizza gift card. Purchase yours today. Call 904-621-0700 for more information. Make sure to check out our special military jersey auction and player autograph session on the field after the game. Get photos with your favorite player or dancer. Let's go! Don't miss the fun this Saturday, July 20th. For tickets, visit jacksharks.com or call 621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Let's go!
Mark Watson for Hardball Creative. Free promo tip. Put your logo on golf balls and give them to clients who are bad golfers. More hacks equals more exposure. Trust me, it's science. Hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. After having the week off, the Jumbo Shrimp are back in action tonight at 121 Financial Ballpark to take on the Durham Bulls with Max Meyer on the bump. It's game 1 of a 3-game series with first pitch coming to you at 7:05. Fans, be sure to wear red to tonight's game for Red Shirt Friday and stick around for post-game fireworks. Football season is right around the corner and the excitement is starting to pile up. The Jaguars will finally report training camp this Tuesday. Jags fans, be sure to catch your first glimpse of the Jaguar season by attending a practice at the Miller Electric Center or head down to the annual stadium practice at the Bank on August 3rd. The time of year we have all been itching for all offseason is right there. It's 89 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On The Frangie Show.
We do want to thank our friends from Showtime. Now, tomorrow's that monthly in-store card show from 9 until 4. They do it once a month. Man, oh, man, they've got all kind of great vendors, all kind of great items. It is loaded up. If you were ever going to get there, all the time you should get there. But really head there tomorrow. The in-store card show, 9 to 4 at Showtime right there at the corner of Phillips and Shad. You'll love it. You can find them on all the social channels, too. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. But get in there tomorrow. That is the card show, and you will love it when you get in there. Pete Prisco joins us. Pete, it's here, bro. It's here. They'll be on the field next week. When are you getting here? When are you coming to town? What's your plan?
I think it's the last week or the first week of August, I think.
Okay.
That early that week. When do they have the stadium practice? It might be the day
August
before that.
3rd, I think, is the stadium.
Yeah, maybe the day before that and that day. So yeah, I'll be up. I'm ready to go. I'm going to Tennessee next week, so
okay.
I'm going to go spend a couple days with the Titans and see my man Will Levis and see how good they are, and Calvin Ridley, and see what that looks like. But yeah, it's here. It's definitely here. I was back to work doing stuff this week, so it's crazy. It's hard to believe it's already ready to go. But you know what? After you're off for a little while and you took your little trip to the Cape where you did all your sightseeing stuff, it's ready to go back.
I'm right with you, bro. Preaching to the choir. I can't wait to start. I want to get to the Jags in a minute, but you piqued my interest here. I'm interested to see what you think of the Titans, because that's the one team that people aren't quite sure about. So before you even go up there, how good do you think they are? And you'll have a different opinion when you come back. I get that. But as we sit here today, what do you think of the Titans?
I think they're going to be pretty good. I'm a big Levis guy. You know that.
Yeah,
I think he can end up being a star. And so I think if he's the star, and they've made big improvements on the offensive line. They went out and signed a center and Cushenberry, much like Jacksonville did. They needed to do it, and they did it, and he's going to help them in the middle. They drafted the rookie left tackle. He's going to help them. The line's going to be much better, significantly better, and it's going to be better in large part because Bill Callahan's coaching. He's one of the best line coaches in the league, and he came there with his son, who's now the head coach. So I think offensively they're going to be much better. Defensively, we'll see. They have to figure out, where the edge rush comes from. Can Jeffrey Simmons get back to being Jeffrey Simmons? He didn't play that way last year. But they've improved in the secondary, getting Snead's big for him. I think they're going to be – I think it's going to be a different Titans team. Frank, over the years, even dating back to when I covered the Jaguars and they went to the playoffs and lost to them in the championship game, it was always tough, physical, hard-nosed, the football team. That's not who they're going to be anymore. I mean, they still run the football, but they're going to try and do things differently. They're going to try and make Will Levis the Joe Burrow because Callahan came from the Bengals.
That's a really good point. From Eddie George to Derrick Henry and everybody in between, they've been run first. Your point is they're not going to be run first now, which will be interesting to see because it's hard to even picture them not, Pete, to your point. But it'll be fun to see. All right, the Jags on the field next week. What should fans have their eyes on? The next time we visit with you now, they will have been in camp 3 days. Fans are coming out. What would you tell a fan to watch? Obviously, you're going to watch Trevor and the ball. Everyone loves the ball. I get that. But go beyond that a little bit. What would your eye be on, and what will your eye be on when you get here?
Well, I think the new look defense. I think that's the most important thing. Offensive line, I think getting more changes to the way they play. I think that's big. It gives them stability in the middle and to make everybody else around them better. I'm not really as worried about the offensive line as a lot of people are. I want to see what the new look defense looks like. I think they have a chance to be really good on that side of the ball. I think the new coordinator, nothing but rave reviews for him around the league. He's going to, take a defensive line. He's always been around the defensive line and make it good. Getting big bodies back, Hamilton back, and getting those guys up front will be important for him. It'll free up the linebackers. I think Lloyd looks like he's ready to finally take that next step and be a part of the defense. And I think the corners, how they're going to play the corner. And you've been around it more than me, but everybody I've talked to, the Jones kid from Florida State looks like he's going to be a big-time player as a nickelback.
They drafted him as a nickel. I think what they saw in OTAs, Pete, in fact I know because I've had the conversation, is a guy that can play both. I think one of the biggest surprise, you draft all these guys and you sign free agents, And then you go to OTAs and minicamp, and you learn about them, right? You don't need to learn about guys you've had here 4 years. You learn about the guys you've never coached, and so you're looking for the pleasant surprises. Pete, I think that the Jarian Jones' ability to play outside, I'm not saying that's where he's going to land, is maybe the biggest surprise of any newcomer on this football team.
And if he can do that, that gives him, the corners across. Because me, I've had a problem with that whole idea of playing Savage at the nickel corner. I didn't like it. I don't like the idea. He's done it some, but he can play a big nickel and play the dime linebacker. But I don't think he can play. He can't match up with a shifty little, slot receiver. I think it's going to be a problem for him. So if they can get somebody that can do that, that's so important for that defense. Because look, Herndon was a feisty little player. He couldn't run. I mean, and it showed up. That always showed up when he was on the field. So I think it's important to get some stability there. But I think the defense is going to be much better.
What do you expect from Trevor in camp? Not the season. We've had that talk, and we'll have it again when we get closer to it. What do you expect from Trevor in camp? I'm guessing won't play much in the games, a lot of reps, but now there's 3 quarterbacks there. You got to pick a second guy. You got to decide if you're keeping 3. What's your expectations for the quarterback room in camp, Pete?
Well, I think it's more of getting a comfort with the guys. I think that's what camp is for him. The timing with those guys, and particularly with the rookie wide receiver. I think that's important. I think you have to get the timing down. He's going to be, and even Gabe Davis. I mean, he's a guy that can stretch the field. They now have ball field stretchers. That's important. I mean, you have to be able to do that this league. If you don't, you're going to have problems. Everybody's going to sit on you. I always joke around. There's a force field at 15 yards if you can't stretch the field, and now they have 2 guys who can do it. And I think that's something to keep an eye on in training camp and throughout the process when they work out with the other teams is how are they hitting those deep balls down the field. It's something he excels at. So I think it's something they have to get back to. I thought they got away from that a little too much last year, in large part, Frank, because the offensive line wasn't very good.
I think if I was Doug Peterson, I'm not sure Travis Etienne would even touch the ball in the preseason. Agree or disagree?
I wouldn't play him in the preseason.
Not at all. I wouldn't. Not at all, right?
No. Not. I mean, look, he's going to get his work when
right.
with Tampa Bay, and no, I would not play him in the preseason. I'd be real careful with a lot of guys in the preseason, and ultimately the preseason's getting they're going to do away with it. That's why you're seeing more and more of these teams having workouts with 2 teams now in the summer, and I think that's the way it's going to go. So yeah, I wouldn't let him touch the ball in the preseason game. Absolutely not.
You and I have both said we both believe 18-2 will be here by the 26th season. I'll stand by that, until I'm told it's not going to happen, Pete. I think 18-2 is not coming next year, but I think there will be a lot of conversation about it next year, and I think 18-2 is coming by the 26th season. I'd be shocked if it does not. Pete, go around the league a little bit. Speaking of quarterbacks, the Bears are going to play Caleb Williams in some of these games. Good idea, bad idea. Now, he's never played in the league, so he's got to learn. Good idea, bad idea.
Good idea. He has to play. The young guys have to play. They got to get a feel for putting their helmet on and going out there. And look, they see the speed of the game during OTAs is different. And the mini camps, it's different from when you play in college. It's as good as those guys are. Jaden Daniels playing the SEC, best conference going, but in the NFL, and the speed is entirely different. And so when you get to the mini camp and the OTAs, you do all that stuff, you go, okay, that's good. I'm adjusting to it. Well, now you got to adjust to the speed when guys are getting blasted. And so and you got to come out of the tunnel, with your helmet on and ready to go and lead a huddle. And I think they all need to play. It doesn't need to be a lot, but they all need to get in there and play just to get a feel for it, because it's, that's the next step. Feel of the game is speed of the game in the preseason. It's not great, but compared to the regular season, but it's there. And then you get speed of the game in the regular season. It's different. Then speed in the game in November, December, it amps up a little bit. And then the speed in the game in the postseason is entirely different. So I think they have to adjust to it. I would play them all.
Hey, what are the best storylines of camp or of even the preseason around the league? We know the storylines when the regular season gets here. Can the Chiefs compete again? Who can push them? Or the 49ers, Eagles, whoever? Are the Ravens the second best team? I get all that. But in the preseason, are there any jobs up for grabs? Are there any quarterback jobs? Are there any additions coming for anybody? Well, what are the storylines that you think are the best in August?
Well, I think you got to look at the contract situation for Dak Prescott and Tua. I mean, those are things to keep an eye on. And then the receivers, what's some of those receivers are looking for big contracts, including Tyreek Hill wants a new deal and probably should get one. So I think contract issues are going to loom over those teams, and I don't love getting in the contract situations because I think ultimately, we're looking at Brandon Ayuk and I'm not going to play. Well, you'll play. I mean, you're not going to sit out. You're not going to leave that money on the table. So I do think ultimately they'll get it figured out. I think Dak Prescott will get a new contract. I think Tua will get a new contract. So I think those will get done. But those are looming right now as we head into the training camps. As far as the football side of things, I think it's all the young quarterbacks. I mean, what is Bo Nix going to look like in Sean Payton's offense?
Right. Great call.
What is Jaden Daniels going to look like in the Commanders' offense? And I think he's going to be a star. You mentioned Caleb Williams. I think all of that, those guys are the ones you got to keep an eye on and look and see how they're going to play. You got a quarterback competition in Pittsburgh. People think that Russell Wilson just has that job. That's not true. I think Fields, and you hear good things about Fields. I think there's a real true quarterback competition there with the Steelers, and they need an upgraded quarterback. And then there's the Harbaugh story. Jim
That's
Harbaugh is a fantastic football coach. He really is. I mean, he's a weirdo, okay? But he's a great football coach. Everywhere he goes, he wins. But everywhere he goes, he also runs the ball. And he's been that way. Even though he had Andrew Luck at Stanford and he had J.J. McCarthy who was a first-round pick, we know what he wants to do. How does that dynamic work with Justin Herbert? That's what I want to know. I want to see how that plays out. How do you, balance the fact that you have a star passer and yet you still want to be a team that pounds the football with a big, strong, physical offensive line? I think that's something to keep an eye on in preseason.
Pete, final thing, they unveiled the throwbacks. I know you saw them. Some people call it the Coughlin years, the Brunell Vasselli years. I call that the Prisco years. That's what I refer to that as. So they went to the Prisco year throwbacks. Did you love them?
I never liked them that much to begin with. I like the white ones. No, I like the white ones. I like them
the all white.
What they have now. I like the all white. I always like the all white.
Yeah.
But you know what? I will say this about the unveiling. Big mistake. Did you see what they did with Leon? They played the Uh-Oh song. You can't play that song. You can't use that song. Anybody who knows anything about the history of the Jaguars knows that Jeff Fisher played that song at his team meeting the night before the 99 championship game. You can't play that song.
I did not know that, by the way. And I love the video. I thought the video was fantastic.
It was well done.
Yeah.
It was really well done, and I love that they got Leon to sing and do his old song
awesome.
and everything.
Leon's
but Leon, I wanted to say something about Twitter, but I didn't. Leon, you can't let them use that song. You know what happened after that song.
I did not remember that part. Hey, final thing about the uniforms. You won't remember it. I remember the weird thing. You'll laugh at this because you won't remember this, but I remember this weird stuff. I remember you and me and your brother at Hooters on San Jose. I don't know what year. Would it have been 95? Before they played, probably? Probably 90.
Yeah.
And we were all excited because that's how weird and lifeless we all are. Because Deron Cherry was going to kind of make sure they had those all-white uniforms like the Chiefs used to wear. And do you remember you probably don't remember the conversation, but you, me, and Paulie said they're going to look good because Deron Cherry had those white uniforms and the Jags. And I'm like you. I love the all-white on the road. I think it's fantastic.
I do, too. I look, it's good to pull them out again, and, I think it's great for that. But I just never loved the teal because it was, I don't know. It looks good now that I look back on it. It looks better now than it did back then. I think I really do. I think it's kind of cool for a throwback. I like it. I'm glad they're doing it. And isn't that the day they're going to put Tom into the Ring of Honor? That's even better.
And
so,
because
it's awesome.
Nobody more deserving than Tom Coughlin. You're exactly right. Pete Prisco, check it in.
He needs to get in the Hall of Fame too. By the way.
You're darn right he does. And you know what? And you're one of the best pushers of that I know. Push it as hard as I know you will, and I know you'll get him in that Hall of Fame, and that'll be fantastic. Pete Prisco checking in from CBS Sports, brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Pete, we'll see you soon when you get up here. Thanks, buddy.
You got it. Take care, Frank.
All right. Pete Prisco checking in from CBS Sports one more time. It's brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Remember, tomorrow, once a month, they have this incredible in-store card show. More stuff than you can imagine. It goes from 9 until 4. If you're a collector, shame on you if you're not headed to Showtime tomorrow from 9 to 4. It's located right there on Phillips Highway at the end of Shad Road. You'll be awfully glad that you did. And, of course, on the social channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All right, we're going to wrap our coverage from the SEC with our final two segments with the teams you follow the closest, the Dogs and the Gators. We'll start with Georgia. They've earned the right to go first. I want you to hear from Kirby Smart one more time and Carson Beck one more time. That's after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.
Hey folks, it's Jennifer Marion. Randy Marion Cadillac is the pinnacle of luxury in the First Coast area.
And guess what? We've got the all-new Cadillac Lyriq with $16,000 off MSRP.
That's right. You pick the color and drive away today in ultimate style.
Experience the future of driving with the Cadillac Lyriq. Electric, elegant, and exhilarating.
Visit us online at randymarioncadillacofjacksonville.com or come see us on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Don't miss out on this unbeatable deal. Plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and resistor.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core can also remodel your old pool deck and beautiful new pavers. Make your backyard wishes a reality. Visit Stone Core on Phillips Highway and let's get started at stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
I'm thinking about changing my name.
Again? You're already the media mogul, the straw that stirs the drink, the Duke of Pablo Bay. Now what?
Refer to me as Dreamfinders Danny Hicken.
What in the blazes? Is this a cash grab?
No, it's just that I believe so much in Dreamfinders Homes. 20 locations in Northeast Florida, official home builder of Jags and Gators. Great opportunity for first-time homeowners.
All right. Dreamfinders Danny it is.
Did I mention the lowest interest rates you can find? Visit DreamfindersHomes.com. Now let Dreamfinders Danny celebrate through the majesty of song. Dreamfinders, I believe they will build your home just right.
College football is finally here.
Yes.
SEC Football Media Days. Catch interviews with coaches and players.
We need change. I think everybody knows that.
If you miss one, you can hear it on demand at 1010XL.com. Brought to you by Instant Keys.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us. But for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks. But I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners. Always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 2854-LAW. 2854-LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
It's Hacker here, checking in from the sunny Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, that's right. I'm down here living the dream with a margarita in one hand and some seafood in the other. And let me tell you, I'm not stressing one bit about gaining any of my 80 pounds back this week. You know the reason? No, it's Awaken 180 weight loss. My metabolism is on fire. I'm burning off calories as fast as I can put them down. I know the 80 pounds is one measurement, but how about this one? I'm now wearing a size 38 pants. That's down from a 46. 8 inches off my waist. Think about that. 8 inches gone in just 4 months. That's absolutely incredible. That's Awaken 180. My confidence is through the roof. I'm even strutting around the beach down here with the shirt off, feeling like a brand new man. It's all about the Awaken 180 magic. If you're ready to make a change, take it from all of us. Awaken 180 is the real deal. Book your summer consult today at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
It's back! The Big One sales event is here, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Arlington has over 400 new Toyotas available. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and family vans. And that means now is the time to go big and go home in style. Plus, with every new Toyota purchase, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty and 30-day exchange program. But don't wait. The Big One sales event won't last long, so shop today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
If you're from the South, you know all about fried green tomatoes and BLTs. So put some South in your mouth and get to Bono's to try the fried green tomatoes appetizer served with Reggie Ranch and one-of-a-kind Bono's BLT with smoked brisket, lettuce, and fried green tomatoes served with one southern side. Frank Frangie here, and I'm telling you, I love fried green tomatoes, and this sandwich is out of sight. So head to your local Bono's today. The fried green tomatoes appetizer and BLT is a summer sensation. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
As always, when we go to the SEC Media Days, we visit with coaches who are very accomplished. This guy won 2 of the last 3 national championships, and every year we do this, we come back on our Friday show. One last time, we let you hear from both the Georgia and the Florida contingent. Let's start with maybe the best coach in America, our visit with Georgia coach Kirby Smart. How are you doing?
Great, man. I'm on my last stop.
So this is it.
Y'all are getting the caboose.
We're getting
all right. The caboose is the best
shot. I've told the story. I told you the story before, too. When we were at 4 teams and everyone was talking about going to 8, you told me, now I think we'll go to 12 if we do anything. Nobody else had said that. You got to be happy that we're at 12. Right?
Well, I mean, I liked 4. I like 2. I like whatever it is. If I'm in it, you know what I mean. Yeah. Like if you're in it, then you're dancing. You got a shot, and more teams got a shot now. We'll see how that plays out. Will there be a bunch of blowouts? I don't know. What I think there's going to be is some great on-campus games. Yeah. There's going to be one round where it's played on the campuses of these places, and you're going to see somebody's going to have to go to South Florida, or somebody's going to have to go to Michigan, or somebody's going to have to go to West Coast. I mean, you're going to get anything and everything in that week, and I think that's going to be really cool, and then it's going to break out into the bowl games. And I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. It's a new adventure, and let's see who can kind of survive the gauntlet and still survive that playoff run.
Now, you are clearly not a guy who looks backward, but, all the talk was Florida State getting, quote-unquote, screwed out of the playoff. Never in the history of the playoff had a number 1 loss on the last week of the season and not been in the playoff. How disappointing was that?
Well, first of all, we lost. So, like that, we had that responsibility in and of ourselves, and I always look internally first. I have no doubt we're one of the 4 best teams in the country, but it doesn't matter, and it didn't matter then. We had an opportunity, and they saw it as we had an opportunity to play our way in, and we didn't, and that's the way it goes. But I promise you this, nobody wants to come play in this SEC schedule that we play either.
Right. Kirby, how much does people talk about all the time, not winning last year when most of us think if you'd have gotten in, you would have won? How much does that motivate you? Is that a real thing?
No, I don't think so. We don't harp on it. I think that last performance in the SEC championship might leave a bad taste in some guys' mouth. So there might be a little motivation there, but there's no like chip on your shoulder, get back at them, do it. I mean, we start every year assuming nothing. And we start from ground zero, and we build up from ground zero, and we build the team from this team where it is. Nothing built on the team before, so we'll do that this time and not really rely on last year's results.
So Carson was telling us he didn't handle it well in 2021 when he could have had the job in the week of UAB and he didn't nail it down. His maturation since then over those 3 years. How impressive has it been to watch him develop like that?
It's been awesome. He's a great kid. I mean, we knew he was talented when he first got there, and we knew this kid was going to be big time. He had poise in the pocket. He had a great arm. He had a great skill set. I mean, there was times the very first year that we were like, man, this guy might be the best one to play now. And that was way back. I mean, COVID season. And he's done nothing but got better, and he's never complained. He's never, like, he stood firmly by and knew that when he got in the driver's seat, he was going to take the bull by the horns and take it over, and he's done that. In an era where everybody that doesn't play leaves, sure. How hard is it for you, because you're such a good recruiter, and Georgia's such an elite program, that you get all these really good guys, Brock Vandagriff and Gunner and Carson, and is it hard to manage that, Kirby? No, honestly, I mean, You deal with people with the way you communicate with them. You treat them right. You treat them fair. You tell them before they come what it's going to be like, and you're honest with them. I mean, is it a pain in the ass at times? Yeah, but I think that pain in the ass is a good thing because they're growing. Brock Vandagriff is a better human being, person, and man because he came to Georgia and went through those trials and tribulations. And you know what? I'm a lot better off person because I got to meet Brock Vandagriff and the positive impact he had every day of my life. So I don't look at those, especially a quarterback position, because everybody can't play at quarterback. They're eventually going to have to leave if they're not the guy playing. But he fought it out. He did it, and he's better because of it.
So Carson told me something back in the other room, and he's something Nick used to say all the time, and I know you know this, that easy and great aren't friends. They don't walk together.
They don't.
So how do you explain that to young cats that are developing in your program?
Just that way. I mean, look at the trials these guys have been through. Look at Carson Beck's story. We put him in front of the room. Marion Smith's been through 5 significant injuries, and he's here ready to play another year. And we show him the x-rays of everything he's been through, and it's just like, man, this is not easy. This is not given. You earn what you get around here. When Steve Spurrier was a coach in the 90s, we came to these media days, and every head turned when he came around. Nick, for many, many years, every head turned when he came around. You're now that guy. You're that program. You are that guy. You're that program. There's the targets on your back, and you know it is. They're turning their heads because how big I am. Maybe this jacket. You got the target on your back. That's where you want to be. That's what you wanted to build. But talk about the challenges. What kind of a challenge is there for your football program? Well, the challenges are what you create. I don't look at it as a target out to my back. I'll never be hunted. I told you that. I went through years of worrying about, like, oh, God, what if we do it? Hell no. We're throwing caution to the wind. We're coming after you before you come after us. So there's no target being put on our back because we're going to be the ones doing the hunting, and that's just the way we play our game. It's the way we attack the game. We want to attack the other team. And if they're better than us or more physical than us, more power to them. But we're going to go down swinging. It's not about the difficult schedule. Not about Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss on the road. They got to play you. That's the way you got to look at it, right? That's exactly right. And we got to go to their place and do it, which is going to be a hell of an atmosphere. Kirby, do you, in the portal era that we're in now, programs like yours that don't need it a lot, do you like the portal era? Do you like where we are with players changing teams as often as they do? No, I don't like it. I understand it. I don't like the fact. I worry we're going to look back 20, 30 years and there's going to be no allegiance. Like a kid's going to say, well, I don't have a group of friends. I don't have a loyalty to a school because I went to 3 schools. I went to 2 schools. But you know what? It's their life. They got to make that decision. Well, I can only tell them the outlook that I have on staying at a place and the benefits from staying at a place that are going to last much longer than the gratification you get from chasing the grass is greener on the other side. Hey, Kirby, thanks so much, man. We'll let you get going. We appreciate you taking time. Kirby, thanks, buddy. Good luck. Kirby Smart, maybe the best coach in college football. Boy, do the Georgia Bulldogs have a good one. You ought to be excited about this, George. You waited a long time for a coach like this. Not since Vince Dooley have you had it. Kirby Smart's awfully good. And he's got an awfully good quarterback from right here in Jacksonville. Mandarin Hays, Carson Beck, might win the Heisman Trophy, might win a national title, might be the first pick of the draft. We caught up with Carson in Dallas. Carson, we followed you, obviously got to follow you all through high school being in Jacksonville. And I've said this many times. We're in a world
where nobody wastes their turn anymore. Nobody does. The portal, you know this. You waited your turn, and it paid off last year, and it's really going to pay off this year in the draft and with the season. What was that like? How were you able to be so patient in a world where nobody else is?
I think I've always been super patient my whole entire life. I don't know why. It's just kind of how I was raised. It was kind of instilled into me. But with that being said, obviously it was very difficult. It was difficult to wait for those 3 years, and finally that fourth year I get my opportunity. But there was hope, and I always held on to that as I, went through those first 3 years. And then ultimately getting into that fourth year, all that preparation that I had put in, I had confidence because I knew what I was capable of going into that fourth year. So I think ultimately waiting for my turn built me into the quarterback that I am today.
Carson, Kirby brought up that UAB game back in 2021, where you would have had the opportunity to become the starter. When you look back at where you were mentally and physically there, where you are now, walk us through the emotions of what transpired after that game, where a lot of people thought you'd seize the starting role then, to where you are now, about to enter your second year as that starter.
Yeah. That moment, I think really shaped who I am today. Now, it also could have done the exact opposite. There's two paths that I could have taken from that, and one of them would have led to the destruction of me, and the other one is where I'm standing and sitting in front of you now. After that, that was one of the lowest points of my life, 100%, as far as mentally, emotionally. I was distraught about it, but it also made me, kind of hit a reality check and look inwards to myself and see, okay, where can I get better? Where can I improve in this? Where can I improve in that? And ultimately, like I said, that moment led me down this path to where I'm sitting in front of you today. So I don't regret anything about it, and I don't wish that anything changed.
Carson Beck with us, the Georgia quarterback. You've had quite the journey, and people have been paying attention to you for a long time. So obviously, being a high pick in the draft and maybe leading a team to a national championship isn't overwhelming for you because you've always been watched. Yet, I got to ask you, are you caught up in it at all? Are you able to keep that at bay and just make the thing the thing? How hard is that, Carson?
For me, it's super easy, honestly. I don't really look too much into the noise, whether it's good or bad. I just don't. I don't do noise. I don't do pressure. I don't do expectations. And for me, there's no expectation or there's nothing that anybody could say about me or put on me that I haven't already put on myself, and probably even more. So there's nothing that anybody could ever say to get into my head, because I've been harder on myself, and that's just how I've always been my whole entire life. But also for me, I'm very externally focused. I very much put my focus on my teammates. I very much is how can I play to make the people around me better, right? And when I do that, it eliminates everything from the outside, because I'm not focused on what people have to say about me. I'm focused on my teammates and how I can ultimately make them better.
You made the decision to come back. Why?
There's a lot of reasons, but
run us through them. Run us through them.
I think the hardest part for me leaving, not really, how do I say this? The reason for staying, but more about the hardest part of me leaving would be leaving the locker room that we have and leaving the teammates and the connection that, we've all built. That's probably the hardest part, because it's a lot different once you go to the next level. It's not like college, and talking to guys that have been through it, that have gone to Georgia, that are now in the NFL. There's so many different guys that you can conversate with, and they're all just enjoy it while you're here, because it's different once you get up there. And that ultimately was one of the biggest deciding factors. And then obviously the way the season ended last year, everybody always asks me how difficult of a decision was it, and I tell them it was easy. Now, people might have thought it was difficult in the time because, I wasn't just going to say I was coming back off rip, but the second that we lost to Alabama, I knew that I was coming back.
Carson, two-parter. First of all, playing in the Florida-Georgia game, a game you grew up with, what was it like? Was it nerve-wracking? You couldn't wait to do it. You get to do it again now, but what was that like?
Probably my favorite game.
Yeah.
Favorite game that I've ever played in. It was very full circle, very surreal moment for me, especially growing up, going to the game. It was very emotional running out, going out in the tunnel, just looking around, knowing where I was at home. I grew up here, in going to the game for the 3 years before and never getting to play in it, but then finally getting that chance. Like when I ran out on the field for that first play, like I was pumped up. You know, I wouldn't say that I really get nervous. I'm more anxious to get out on the field, and then once that first play happens, like I'm very much in the zone. But that definitely was a game that I enjoyed, probably my favorite game up to this point, and definitely looking forward to being able to play in it again.
Well, of course, we're very appreciative of your time. Carson Beck, the quarterback for the University of Georgia, formerly of Mandarin High School. But part of why you're here, too, is to introduce us to the 2024 Georgia roster. You guys certainly had some exciting additions, ranging from a name I know that the Gator fans listening right now are very familiar in Trevor Etienne, to a litany of others. Walk us through the weapons that you will have at your disposal. All day I've been asked questions, and I honestly don't know if I can pick out anybody specific because there is so much talent and there is so much depth, and I think that's what makes me so excited about our offense and so excited about the team. But also, I don't think that there's any guys that really care, like if they are like that, like, you know, the flashing light, the blinking light, like, oh, well, I want to be the top target. I want to be, no, like everybody's very like team oriented, like let's get the win and let's get out. And honestly, it's going to be a different guy every week. Just like it was last year, it's a different guy every week. So I'm super excited to see who's going to step up in those big time moments and who's going to kind of like certify themselves as those guys that need the ball when it's crunch time. Was that a selling point to return? Everybody you guys were bringing in? Oh, absolutely.
Well, great. What quarterback doesn't want great weapons?
Hey, absolutely.
Carson Beck, we're proud of you, man. You've done a great job up there. I know it's going to be a big year. I know you're going crazy right there. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck this year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, Carson Beck, the Georgia quarterback. We'll take a break. One more interview to replay from Dallas. Florida football coach Billy Napier. He's going to wrap our trip to Dallas. That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Major League Baseball underway for the second half of the season. The Los Angeles Dodgers remaining the betting favorite to win this year's World Series. The Dodgers are at plus 320 to win the championship. The Philadelphia Phillies entered the second half with the best record in baseball. They are plus 400. The New York Yankees, who are in second place in the AL East, are plus 550 to win the World Series, and they're the best bet out of the American League. The Baltimore Orioles, who lead the Yankees in the division, are plus 750. The Atlanta Braves are plus 900, while the Cleveland Guardians are plus 1,900. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Hun, the drain really smells.
Yeah, wow, it does.
I think it's getting backed up. What should we do? Did you just quack like a duck?
Yes, I did. Duck Duck Rooter, your plumbing pros in Northeast Florida. Need help with a plumbing issue at your home or business? Just call the Duck.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988. So call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
It's the coolest week to save during the summer fan sale at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Buy one fan, save 10%. Buy two, save 15%. Buy three or more and save 20% off all fans at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Showroom near the Avenues.
Folks, this summer, happiness is a new Chevy. That's right, a new Chevy Silverado from Nimnick Chevrolet. Get this. This month, you can save up to $8,500 off a new Silverado. Or, well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 model. And that's with the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee. Your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $2,250 in trade assistance. Want an even better deal? Well, ask about Demo Model for even deeper discounts. You can shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership conveniently located at the corner of Park and Cabot. This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. So head to Nimnick Chevrolet today. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Mia O'Brien is going to be the first woman president of the United States of America.
Catch me weekdays from noon to 2 on Helmets and Heels.
And she could run later this year even, and I would vote for her.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota on 1010XL.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
I'm Taylor Rose with our Remedy Staffing Westside office off of Normandy Boulevard. We are helping great people find great jobs. Remedy has helped some of the best employers in Jacksonville find talented job seekers like you for over 25 years. Our current job openings range from entry-level distribution center pickers to equipment operators. Apply today at remedygoodjobs.com. Don't wait. Apply at remedygoodjobs.com now.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Hey Beaches area, great news for your next party. You can now buy Mystic Cornhole Company boards in stock at the Seaside Shops on 4th Avenue in Jacks Beach, or as always at mysticcornhole.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
Throughout the offseason, people have thought the Gators aren't going to be very good and Billy Napier's on the hot seat and might not last. Billy doesn't see it that way, and that is very clear. He's a very confident coach, and we caught up with him at the SEC Media Days in Dallas.
Graham Mertz,
man, he is sharp.
He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
He is. And he doesn't get credit for being that. And,
I agree.
And I agree with you, though. He's a really good – you know what's funny? Even before he got here, people why is Graham Mertz? He was – you got to feel – I can't imagine the kind of season you think he's going to have.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, I think the guy started in January in a completely different place. You know, I mean, he had the respect of his teammates, the staff. The way he's engaged and treated the people throughout the organization, he sets the standard. You know, and I think ultimately it's his team, and he's done a great job leading. His energy, his self-discipline, his attention to detail, the way he competed last year, the toughness, the grittiness, the way that he prepared as a player, and his
ownership of the offense and the way he communicated. He's in a good place right now, man. I'm excited to watch him play this year.
Billy, I got to tell you, and I was telling Matt this a minute ago. This is my 36th of these, okay? I've done this media day thing a long time. Just talk to Shamar, Montrell, and Graham. There's a poise about them, and I've talked to a lot of players over the years, and you've been saying, I don't know if you use the word culture, but you've been talking about it's different.
Sure.
It's different. I can see it in those guys. Is what we saw today kind of what maybe you've been talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think look, this is the first team we've had. The roster's kind of stabilized. There's only 12 guys on our team, I think, that were here when we first started.
Okay.
Right? So the majority of this team, they chose us, we chose them. They were recruited during the NIL era, right? So all those things I's are dotted, T's are crossed. There's no uncertainty there. And then I think that we have really good leadership at the player level. I think ultimately we've got a veteran team. Now, I love this team. I believe in our team. We've got 17 starters returning. We've got 41,000 snaps coming back. I think it's 463 starts total.
Wow.
We're fourth in the SEC in returning production. And we've had a phenomenal offseason. I think some of the changes that we made, the strength and conditioning change, the sports science, nutrition, that team of people, our players believe in what's taking place there. And a couple changes on defense, I think, have made a difference. And then we added Joe Houston from the New England Patriots to help us with the special team. So, yeah, I think that's been typical assessment. You hear this outside noise and kind of this narrative people have created about the Gators, and then people come and visit and observe our players' work and the way we interact with each other and look at our team. We've got more competitive depth than we've ever had, and we're looking forward to it.
Billy, you are not an excuse guy, never have been. I'm going to give you a couple real quick. You get off the field in 4th and 14. That field goal against Arkansas goes in. It's a completely different offseason, right?
Yeah. Look, some part of me wants to say that maybe we needed to go through that. Maybe we needed to experience some of that. I think maybe that forces you to grow. It forces some tough decisions. It forces you to be a little tougher, a little more objective. And maybe exposes who's all in and who's not.
Right.
And I think we were very intentional with some of our roster moves in the winter. Not only the players that maybe left, but also the ones we added. And I think, I'm with you. I get that part. But even 7-5, we would have been disappointed probably. I feel like we were even close at LSU. We were close with Florida State. I think the back half of the year, we got to become more consistent. And when we get in position in these 4-quarter games, we've got to close out the games. And that, I think, leveraging the leadership and experience of this team, I'm hopeful we can get that done.
I think you win in college football with quarterback and D-line.
Yeah.
I love this guy. I think he's going to be really good. How good will Cam Jackson, Caleb Banks, Joey Slackman, because that's a big deal in this league, and I know you know that. How do you feel about that group?
Yeah, Jamari Lyons has had a good offseason. And then we've got some good young players there, DeAndre Robinson, Kelby Collins, Brian Taylor, Makai Burrow.
There's some depth.
We have depth on both lines of scrimmages. Our defensive line and edge group combined, our offensive line, no doubt the best groups we've had since we've been at Florida. And we built our team that way, right? That's what we know. I've been in this league. We know what works, and you got to win in the trenches to have success in this league.
The Pup Howard's there now, one of our Jacksonville guys. Shamar, you got to feel good about Pup's a fun guy. You got to feel good about that.
Pup's a big man, and
he's a big man.
He's a great communicator. He's smart, can run. He's done a great job kind of taking ownership of his communication, his knowledge of our system. Got some other great Duval kids. Sharif Denson's in great position. Trayon Webb could have a phenomenal year and have a great role in our team. Rod Kearney continues to grow and develop. Jack Pyburn is back from his injury.
How is he?
He's doing good.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's full speed, and he's been cleared. And Jack is he's a true Gator, man. He bleeds orange and blue.
Bill, you're different on the outside now, offensively. Do you see more explosion plays in the passing game, in the vertical passing game this year?
Well, I think our issue last year was the fact that we were very explosive. We were one of the most explosive teams in the country in year one. And then year two, we had issues protecting, right? So it was either ball out of our hand quickly or it was 6-7 man protection. I think we got a little banged up there in the second half of the year. And then we just, training camp, we had a lot of guys hurt. We had different combinations of O-linemen the whole year. And that's what I'm excited about is I think if we can protect 15 here, he can distribute the ball. And I think ultimately that's been a point of emphasis in the offseason.
Final thing for you, and thank you for stopping by. I know it's been a crazy day for you, Billy. Every player I've talked to, we had you on when you were in Jacksonville a month or so ago, and every player, the narrative's the same. Yeah, we know what they're saying on the outside, but we're on the inside. Mm-hmm. You've said it. Every one of your players have said it. So how does that manifest itself? Do you keep that away from them? Do you have to? Are they mature enough that you don't have to worry about that? How do you deal with that part?
Well, I think ultimately there's no avoiding it these days.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, I mean, and I think that there's a lot of competition for their attention. You know, I mean, even more. I mean, I'm joking around with them coming here. I mean, I can remember back in the day, I had my flip phone, right, where you had to go A, B, C, D. Back in the day when I was growing up, you had to pick up the phone and call your girlfriend.
Remember that?
You'd say, hey, is Ashley there? I mean, so they're going to be exposed to that. I think equipping them with tools to navigate those things, and then your leadership has got to do a good job. People that have been around it, that have learned that lesson, hey, don't ignore the noise. Don't believe the hype. It's about consistency. It's about your ability to reset every week, have the self-discipline to prepare with the same level of detail, focus, and urgency each week. Got to be ready in this league to play every week. Can't have a bad week. And I think when you have players that have experience, that understand that, they can set high expectations for themselves, be a good example to the team, and that's the benefit of having, we've got them. They're coming back, so I'm excited about it.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, where have we been today? You just heard from Billy Napier and Kirby Smart and Carson Beck, three real principals, and boy, you'll be following them at Georgia and Florida all year long. Brett Hastings stopped by with Sports and Courts. Jim Nagy, I wanted you to hear his thoughts from the Senior Bowl, and of course Pete Prisco. Our last time we talked to Pete before training camp has commenced, that's what we did on the program today. It was a fun week all week long in Dallas at the SEC Media Days. We've enjoyed it. We were so well received there, as we always are. My 36th time there, so I've done it a bunch. Matt Hays has certainly been there a bunch. Mia did a great job tracking down all that social and YouTube video for you. So we certainly did enjoy it. Hard to believe, though, it's here. The training camp week begins the next time you hear our voices on Monday. We'll be here. Hays won't be here until Tuesday, but we'll be getting you ready for training camp, and I can't wait. Thanks for listening all week long to SEC Media Days. The next time we talk, we'll be talking training camp and more. We're out of here. For the absent Hays Carlyon, for JJ LaSalle, I'm Frank Frangie.